Mat Armstrong had become one of the biggest names in the car world on YouTube, but his rise did not happen in the normal way. He did not become famous by buying brand new supercars and showing them off in luxury locations. Instead, he built his name by taking cars that most people believe were completely destroyed and bringing them back to life. Over the years, millions of viewers have watched him rebuild crashed Lamborghinis, Ferraris, Aston Martins, and other expensive performance cars that insurance companies had already declared impossible to repair. His videos are not only about fixing vehicles. They are about proving that difficult things can still be done with enough skill, patience, and determination. That is why so many people became interested when Mat revealed that he had purchased a damaged Bugatti Chiron. The Bugatti Chiron is not just another expensive supercar. It is considered one of the most advanced road cars ever created. The car costs millions of dollars, produces massive power from its W16 engine, and contains technology that only a small number of engineers fully understand. Even professional mechanics often avoid touching these cars because the systems inside them are extremely complicated. Bugatti itself treats the Chiron almost like a piece of engineering art rather than a normal production vehicle. Because of this, many people believe there was no chance a YouTuber working in a garage could successfully rebuild one. But Mat Armstrong saw the challenge differently. He believed that with enough work, enough research, and enough support from his team, the impossible could become possible once again. The moment he announced the project, the automotive world exploded with attention. Some people supported him and admired his courage. Others believed he was taking a huge risk that could end in disaster. Nobody expected, however, that the rebuild would eventually attract the attention of one of the most powerful men in the car industry, Bugatti CEO Mat Armstrong. Once that happened, the project stopped being only about rebuilding a hypercar. It became a much bigger story about repair rights, manufacturer control, and the growing power of YouTube creators. Before the Bugatti project, Mat Armstrong had already created a reputation for doing things most people thought were impossible. His channel became successful because viewers enjoyed watching badly damaged cars slowly return to perfect condition. Unlike traditional car shows that focus only on driving or reviewing vehicles, Mat's content showed every difficult step of the rebuilding process. Viewers could see the stress, mistakes, repairs, and victories in real time. This honesty made his audience feel connected to projects. Over time, Mat rebuilt several famous vehicles that helped grow his reputation even further. One of the most impressive examples was a Lamborghini Aventador SVJ that had been heavily crashed. Many believed the car would never drive again, but Mat and his team carefully rebuilt it piece by piece. He also repaired a Ferrari 812 Superfast and later gifted the completed car to his father, which became one of the most emotional moments on his channel. Another major project involved an Aston Martin DBX that had been fully submerged underwater. Most mechanics would have considered the vehicle beyond repair because water damage can destroy electronics, wiring, and engine systems very quickly. Yet, Mat still managed to make the vehicle run again. These projects build an image around him as someone who refuses to accept limits. To his fans, he represents creativity and determination. To some manufacturers, however, that image can create problems. Car companies spend years building reputations around their technology, safety systems, and repair standards. When a YouTuber repairs a car that a manufacturer considered impossible to fix, it can raise uncomfortable questions. People may begin asking why official repair costs are so high, or why certain repairs are restricted to approved dealers only. This becomes even more sensitive with hypercars like the Bugatti Chiron, where the brand's reputation depends heavily on perfection and exclusivity. Mat Armstrong's audience loves watching these barriers being broken, but large manufacturers often prefer to maintain strict control over how their vehicles are repaired and presented to the public. That difference in thinking created the perfect setup for conflict once the Bugatti Rebuild series began attracting millions of viewers around the world. The Bugatti Chiron itself is one of the main reasons the story became so massive online. This is not an ordinary sports car. The Chiron is a technological masterpiece designed to show what modern engineering can achieve when cost is almost ignored. Its massive quad-turbocharged W16 engine produces around 1,500 horsepower, allowing the car to reach incredible speeds that only a handful of production cars can match. The body is built with advanced carbon fiber structures, and nearly every system inside the vehicle is connected to complex electronics. Even changing certain parts requires specialized equipment and factory-trained technicians. According to Bugatti, some repairs involve separating the entire rear section of the vehicle from the main structure, which is something only a few locations in the world are officially prepared to handle. This level of complexity is exactly why many people were shocked when Mat Armstrong decided to rebuild one himself. The Chiron he purchased had been seriously damaged in an accident, and the repair costs were believed to be enormous. Reports suggested the car had effectively been written off, meaning many experts believe restoring it would not make financial sense. For Mat, however, that challenge was exactly what made the project exciting. Episode by episode, viewers watched him search for rare parts, study the car systems, and slowly rebuild the vehicle in his workshop. The series quickly became one of the most popular automotive projects on YouTube because it combined luxury, engineering, and risk in a way few channels had ever attempted before. The audience could see how difficult every step truly was. There were moments of progress, moments of frustration, and moments where the project seemed almost impossible to continue. Yet that uncertainty made people even more invested. Millions tuned in not only to see if the car could be repaired, but also to witness whether an independent creator could succeed where even official experts claimed the task was nearly impossible. As the rebuild continued gaining attention online, it eventually reached Bugatti CEO Mat Armstrong, and that is when the situation became much more serious. Mat Armstrong is not a typical corporate executive who simply inherited a famous company. He is widely respected as an engineer and entrepreneur who built his reputation through innovation and hard work. Starting from humble beginnings, he developed electric hypercars that shocked the automotive industry with their performance and advanced technology. Over time, his company grew strong enough to become deeply connected with Bugatti itself, eventually placing him in charge of one of the most legendary automotive brands in history. Because of his engineering background, Armstrong takes technical accuracy very seriously. He is passionate about how cars are built, how they are repaired, and how the public understands them. This is important because it explains why he reacted so strongly to Mat Armstrong's Bugatti rebuild series. According to the public discussion surrounding the project, Armstrong believes some of the claims being made in the videos were misleading or technically incorrect. He reportedly questioned whether certain parts were genuine, challenged details about the rebuild process, and raised concerns about how the project represented the Bugatti brand. Instead of handling the situation quietly through lawyers or private conversations, Armstrong chose to respond publicly on social media. That decision changed everything. Suddenly, this was no longer just a YouTube build series. It became a direct public disagreement between one of the world's most famous car CEOs and one of YouTube's biggest automotive creators. The car community reacted immediately. Every major automotive channel, forum, and podcast began discussing the situation. Some people defended Mat Armstrong, arguing that he legally bought the vehicle and had every right to repair it however he wanted. Others sided with Bugatti, believing the company had a responsibility to protect its reputation and ensure accurate information was shared about such a complex machine. The public nature of the conflict made it even more dramatic. Viewers were not watching a private legal battle hidden behind closed doors. They were watching two powerful voices in the automotive world challenge each other openly in front of millions of people online. That level of public conflict between a manufacturer and a YouTube creator was something the car community had rarely seen. But 4.1 reason the story became so emotional is because it connected to a larger issue known as the right to repair movement. Around the world, many consumers believe they should have the freedom to repair products they legally own. This debate exists in industries far beyond cars. Farmers have argued with tractor manufacturers over software locks. Smartphone users have demanded easier access to replacement parts. Technology companies have been criticized for making repairs difficult or expensive. In the automotive world, the issue becomes even more complicated because modern vehicles are filled with software, electronics, and specialized systems that manufacturers tightly control. Supporters of right to repair believe owners should be allowed to fix and modify their own vehicles without depending entirely on official dealerships. They argue that ownership should include the freedom to repair. On the other side, manufacturers claim that advanced products require strict standards for safety, reliability, and quality control. Companies like Bugatti also have luxury reputations to protect. A poorly repaired hypercar that later experiences problems could damage public trust in the brand. Mat Armstrong's Bugatti project became a symbol of this larger debate because it showed how independent creators are becoming increasingly capable of working on vehicles that were once considered untouchable. Millions of viewers watched him reverse engineer systems, search for rare components, and overcome technical barriers that many believed only factory engineers could handle. To supporters, this represented creativity and freedom. To critics, it represented risk and possible misinformation. The emotional intensity surrounding the story came from the fact that both sides had understandable arguments. Mat Armstrong's fans saw a determined builder, proving that independent repair is possible. Bugatti supporters saw a company try and protect technical accuracy and brand integrity. Because the disagreement played out publicly online, every statement and every new video added more fuel to the debate. People chose sides, argued in comment sections, and treated the conflict almost like a sporting rivalry. This level of engagement helped the story spread far beyond normal car audiences and turned the Rebuild series into one of the most talked about automotive topics on YouTube. As the online conflict continued growing, rumors and discussions about legal action began appearing everywhere. Headlines started using dramatic phrases about lawsuits, court battles, and possible legal threats. Whether every rumor was fully accurate or not, the idea of a giant luxury manufacturer possibly taking action against an independent YouTuber created enormous attention. For many viewers, the situation represented a clash between old power structures and modern internet influence. Traditional car companies have spent decades controlling how their products are marketed, repaired, and discussed publicly. YouTube creators changed that balance by giving individuals massive audiences of their own. Mat Armstrong was not just a mechanic, working quietly in a small garage anymore. He was a media figure with millions of subscribers watching every move he made. That audience gave him influence that even major corporations could not ignore. The possibility of legal action also increased the drama because viewers naturally become interested when powerful organizations and independent creators collide. It creates a classic underdog story that audiences often enjoy. At the same time, many people worried about the broader consequences. If companies aggressively challenged independent rebuilders, would that discourage creators from working on complex vehicles in the future? Would manufacturers gain even more control over repair access and technical information? These questions made the story feel bigger than just one Bugatti Chiron. The rebuild became symbolic of larger changes happening across modern industries. Technology is becoming more advanced, but also more controlled. Independent creators are becoming more skilled and influential, but they still face enormous pressure when challenging established companies. Throughout the controversy, Mat Armstrong continued releasing videos that kept viewers invested in the process. Every upload brought new discussions, new reactions, and new speculation about what would happen next. Some people believed the conflict would eventually calm down through private communication. Others expected a full legal war between both sides. Regardless of the final outcome, the situation had already achieved something important. It forced millions of people to think about who truly controls modern vehicles after they are sold and whether ownership should include the right to repair even the world's most advanced machines. Another major reason the story became so popular is because it perfectly matched the style of modern YouTube storytelling. Today's audiences are not only interested in technical information, they are interested in conflict, emotion, risk, and personal journeys. Mat Armstrong's Bugatti rebuild had all those elements at once. Viewers saw an ordinary workshop attempting something extraordinary. They saw expensive mistakes, difficult repairs, emotional pressure, and public criticism from powerful industry figures. The videos created suspense because nobody truly knew if the rebuild would succeed. This uncertainty is extremely important for keeping viewers engaged. Every episode felt like another chapter in a larger story, rather than just another car repair video. The public response from Mate Rimac added even more tension because it transformed the rebuild into a direct confrontation. Suddenly, the audience was not only asking whether Mac could repair the car, they were asking whether he could stand against the criticism of one of the automotive industry's most respected leaders. The script style surrounding the story also played a huge role in its success. Many videos covering the situation used dramatic narration, emotional music, and cinematic editing to make the conflict feel massive. This documentary style has become very popular on YouTube because it increases watch time and emotional investment. Viewers become attached to the people involved and feel like they are witnessing an important cultural moment. In reality, some of the language used online may have exaggerated parts of the situation, but that exaggeration is common in entertainment-focused content. Titles mentioning courtrooms, lawsuits, and industry wars naturally attract more clicks than calm technical discussions. Even so, the core reason people stayed interested was genuine curiosity. They wanted to see whether an independent creator could truly rebuild one of the world's most advanced hypercars, and what would happen when a major manufacturer publicly challenged that effort. The combination of engineering difficulty, internet fame, and public conflict created a story that felt almost designed for viral success. In the end, the Bugatti Chiron rebuild story represents much more than one damaged hypercar being repaired in a British garage. It reflects a major shift happening in the modern automotive world and on the internet itself. Independent creators now have the power to challenge industries in ways that were almost impossible 20 years ago. A YouTuber with enough skill, creativity, and audience support can influence public conversations that once belonged only to corporations and traditional media. Mat Armstrong's rebuild project showed millions of people that even the most advanced cars can sometimes be understood and repaired outside official factory systems. At the same time, the reaction from Bugatti and mate Rimac demonstrated why manufacturers feel nervous about losing control over how their products are repaired and represented publicly. Both sides of the story reveal important truths. Companies invest enormous amounts of money into engineering and protecting their reputations. Independent creators, however, believe innovation should not be locked away behind corporate barriers. That tension will likely continue growing as cars become more software-driven and technologically complex in the future. Whether people support Mat Armstrong or Bugatti, there is no doubt that the project captured worldwide attention because it symbolized a much larger debate about ownership, repair freedom, and modern influence. The story also proved how powerful YouTube has become as a platform. A rebuild project that started in a garage eventually became international news, discussed by millions of people across social media, podcasts, and automotive communities. Few could have predicted that a crashed Bugatti Chiron would turn into a global